What's good, everybody? So, Wuthering Waves has finally released the details of the new 5-star standard weapons that are coming in 3.0, and they are going to see some interesting changes for some of our current lineup of characters in terms of the possibilities you can use, and also the potential for what is going to come for the new characters in the 3-point patches. And I'm gonna be real, there is a lot of focus on, you guessed it, not negative statuses, but tunability. Yes, every single one of these weapons some way is related to tunability and interference, as we kind of all expected. So we're going to see what exactly all these weapons about, give our feelings on if these weapons seem good for our current roster or something to watch and wait and see what happens in 3.0 onwards, and kind of rank them and rate them and see where everything kind of lines up and adds up as of right now. Okay, don't forget, weapons can change in usefulness over time depending on the characters that they release, but so far we're gonna judge it based on who we have today. So first up, we have Laser Shira. Okay, they all have this funky, glowy, real cyberpunk looking vibe to them. They look pretty. I think they look pretty cool. I think they look better than the normal standard 5 stars for sure. Here we go. I'm not gonna read all of these. We will be here all goddamn day, but it's a forge of compound technology that fuses exostrider biomorphic components with pacitite. This weapon offers 2 core features: frequency auto adaptation and user binding. Its power scales directly within the wielder's forte, growing sharper through dedicated forte training. So hey, bit of cool bit of lore around these weapons. Actually, like fusing stuff from like the exostrider is kind of crazy, because it's considered the exostrider is the thing that, you know, powers all of La Harora, like whatever. Anyway, pretty good. I'm cool. But here is the sword. It is an energy regen sword. Oh my god, holy, oh my god, an energy 38.8% energy regen sword. And we see here, increases attack by 12 to 24%, dealing damage to targets under tune strain interfered. So that's a universal tune strain, right? Remember guys, interfered or a enemy being under interference, they can either be ruptured or strained. Either of those grants 24 to 36% resonance skill bonus for 3 seconds. Re-triggering the effect resets its duration. So this is pretty interesting. Okay, so we are getting a bonus for enemies that are under the interfered state, which is, we all kind of expected this would happen when it comes to weapons in 3.0. But this is honestly, we've all kind of agreed they're a pretty good weapon for Brent. He's good. If you don't have his signature, this is probably going to be your second best choice for him. So that's something to pick up if you are you know, looking to build a brand. But I'm sure, I feel like when it comes to brand, most people don't pull him unless they also want to pull for his sig. But if you made the decision of you pull for Brent and you're not really too keen about using Overture, because of course you could use Overture as well, which gives you 47.3% energy regen, and it gives you some concerto energy, but that doesn't really matter. You're just in it for the ER at that point. This is a rank 3 obviously, but you can now get it straight up a 38.8% energy regen sword that has some attack. The increase in attack, obviously Brand really wants attack, so this could be useful for him, and I'm interested to see what other characters can use this going forward into 3.0. So honestly, I think this is pretty okay. There is someone who could currently use this on the roster, so that's a positive so far. Like, I'm all for, the more people, the more characters that can use weapons, I consider the better the weapon to be. Okay, next up on the list, Broadblade. Ooh, Broadblade, here we go. Base stats, 48.6% critical damage. Yes, we are getting a crit damage standard Broadblade. Increases attack by 12 to 24%. Again, dealing damage to targets under tune strain. Grants tune strain interfered. Grants 24% to 36% resonance liberation bonus for 3 seconds. Re-triggering the effect resets its duration. Yes, it does. Okay, what I think about this weapon, I think this is actually also pretty decent. I would consider this above usefulness for the sword, simply because you can use this for Looper. Lupa really likes liberation bonuses, liberation damage, and same thing with Chissa. You could also use her for that. And I'll be real, I consider Chissa to be a character where she really truly shines if you have her Sig, but because of the, you know, additional like 24% all attribute damage bonus. But this weapon right here, I think is a pretty like a decent alternative if you don't have something else. I think it's a decent if you have something else. And also, yeah, maybe for we know Morny is a Broadblade user, so I have a sneaking suspicion that this is going to be pretty useful for Morny too, but we'll have to see, right? We're gonna have to see. But yeah, there are 2 characters in the current roster that could potentially use this weapon, and some additional ones probably coming up in the future. So honestly, I'd say that this is a pretty decent weapon. They kind of cooked with this one. They kind of cooked with this one, so pretty W. Next up, we have the pistols. Obviously, we currently have Static Mist when it comes to pistol. I'll be real, I like Static Mist. Static Mist was a pretty solid 5-star weapon choice. It is a crit rate weapon that increases energy regen by 12.8%, which is useful for pretty much every character. When Outro skill is cast, increase the incoming Resonator's attack by 10%, stacking up to 1 time since the first 4 seconds. Static Mist was a really good weapon for like support characters, like especially like Chikona, for example, used this. It's solid ER, good for support characters, but there wasn't really a weapon for a DPS pistol users that was a standard 5-star. But now it seems we actually have that, and I gotta be real, this weapon looks actually really, really good. Like, I think this might be the best weapon on the whole list, okay? Crit damage 48.6%, coming out the gate with a high crit damage weapon, increases attack by 24%. When it costs Tune Break skill, very important. When a resonator in the team casts a Tune Break skill, this is really important because that means anybody can use this weapon, okay? If a character requires a enemy to be interfered, they have to be paired with a 3.0 character. You have to remember that. They have to be paired with a 3.0 character to get that interference. But with a Tune Break skill, every single resonator is going to be able to utilize 20% to 30% all attribute damage bonus to the wielder for 14 seconds. This pistol right here, low-key, actually kind of fucking slaps. It's universal for any like DPS pistol user from any of the fucking versions, okay? Because any character can Tune Break, and all attribute damage bonus is pretty good. So this is a great DPS option for a pistol. But of course, Static Mist is the good support pistol option. But this is a, yeah, they cooked a pretty decent 5-star DPS weapon. In the team changes everything. Oh no, exactly, right? For like, if we're going back, if this here requires Tune Strain interfered, you're going to want Resident Liberation. So if you're gonna put this with Lupa, then you're also going to want to include like a 3.0 character that could interfere an enemy, right? These have conditions to them. If you're giving this to the characters before 3.0, you're gonna want to pair them with 3.0 characters. I think that's really, really important to like actually kind of say. But if it's Tune Break skill, then any resonator can use this. But it only applies to elite enemies. It won't apply to trash mobs. Remember that. The actual damage bonus will only apply to elite enemies when you do a teammate skill. So like holograms, elite bosses in TOA, but not to trash mobs. You won't be getting this all attribute damage bonus to trash mobs, only elites with a Tune Break skill. So there are little things that you have to like kind of keep in mind. But overall, I still think this is a pretty solid choice. Okay. Fuck, I got hair in my face. Next up, we have Gauntlets. Okay, let's remind ourselves of the current Gauntlets that we have available as the 5-star alternative. We have Abyss Surges with straight up attack as a substat. Increases energy regen by 12.8%. When hitting a target with resonant skill, increases basic attack damage bonus by 10%, lasting for 8 seconds. When hitting a target with basic attacks, increases resonant skill damage bonus by 10%, lasting 8 seconds. So here we go. This is, I feel like the thing is with Gauntlets, this is extremely niche. This is for characters who want the ER, they want the basic attack, they want the resonant skill damage bonus, okay? With this new Gauntlets that they have right here, we have straight up crit rate. I would prefer crit rate for these Gauntlets over like attack. We have increased attack by 12%, 24. Dealing damage to targets under Toon Strain. Again, you will need to pair a character. You need this in a character with a team that has a 3.0 character in it, okay? Grants 6 to 9% basic attack damage bonus for 3 seconds, stacking up to 4 times, okay? Stacking up to 4 times. So that's like what, like 24%. This effect can be triggered once every 0.5 seconds. Re-triggering this effect resets the duration. So you're essentially getting 24% basic attack damage bonus if an enemy is in its interfered state, which is obviously pretty, like, a lot more than what is being offered by Episurges, but it comes with a condition. Again, comes with a condition that this is for a 3.0 character that can interfere. So I would probably rank the Gauntlets in terms of usability for anyone in the current roster. I don't know. It's not really there. So I'm gonna have to put it probably lower on the list right now. Yeah, so far we got Pistols at the top. #1 pick, I would say. Broadblade, pretty close second. Third, we've got the Sword. And now we have the Gauntlets. Not offering too much to the current roster. We'll see if this has any placement going forward. Because I'll be real, there aren't really that many people that use like 5-star Gauntlets even right now. So we'll see how this plays out. And finally, it's Rectifier time. Oh no, everyone hide. Everyone hide. It's Rectifier time. Okay. It is an ER weapon. Yes, 38.8%. Increases attack by 12 to 24%. When a resonator in the team casts a Toon Break skill. Again, this is a universal weapon for everybody, for elite enemies. It grants 12 to 18% attack increase and 12 to 18% basic attack damage bonus to the wielder for 14 seconds. This is clearly made to be like, it's kind of like it's a DPS wanting, having sort of Rectifier out there. Of course, you are not gonna be replacing variation on short. Like, when it comes to Shorekeeper, and when it comes to Rectifiers, variations is still better. Variation is still better when it comes to Concerto, so it doesn't beat out in that regard. But in terms of Cosmic Ripples, which is what we're comparing it to here, increases energy regen by 12.8%. So it has it. So the new weapon has it beat in terms of ER. When dealing basic attack damage, increases basic attack damage bonus by 3.2%, stacking up to 5 times. This effect lasts longer for 8 seconds and can be triggered 1 time every 5 seconds. So yeah, we're having like a 15% basic attack damage increase. 50% basic attack damage increase, and here we are, a 12% basic attack damage bonus to wielder for 14 seconds, along with a 12% attack increase under a Toon Break skill. So technically, like, this could be maybe equal to, would we say equal to or on par to Cosmic Ripples? It depends how much damage we're actually doing with the Toon Break skill. It depends how often we're actually using the Toon Break skill. It was really going to determine how useful this weapon is compared to the likes of Cosmic Ripples. Right? Compared to the likes of Cosmic Ripples. But the fact it's an ER weapon might be useful to you. She got beat. Hi, Cass. So that's kind of it for all the weapons. Uncle will be great again. Yeah, variation, not really that useful to anyone. Really. not even Shorekeeper would particularly want to use this over like other options. So it's way at the bottom of the list. Yeah, exactly. Until we get someone that scales off of ER, you're not really going to want to use this over like Cosmic Ripples in terms of like damage. But it has the potential to, so I have a feeling we're probably going to see an ER scaling Rectifier user at some point, because this screams like DPS, right? This screams DPS. This does not scream support. This does not scream like concerto buff to a character or anything to help support a team. This screams DPS. So the only way this is going to be useful if this is an EL scaling character. So we will have to see how that goes. So that is the roundup for the weapons in 3.0. We'll see if they're good or not. We'll see if indeed they are in fat shit. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate y'all. I see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Twitch.tv/Captain Cabinetz, Captain Cabinetz.